Hey, what's up? It's your girl, that chick, Crissy. I am here with I don't even know how to give this intro. I'm excited about being here. First of all,
Thank you.
Immortal technique should speak for itself. I want to get right into the interview.
Sure.
I want to ask you, basically, with you obviously being such a passionate person about everything that you do, what do you think created your passion for politics?
I think just my travels, my going back to South America as a child, understanding the difference in between what people think is poor in America and poor in other parts of the world, what people think the hood is here in America,
Right.
and what it really is in places that redefine poverty and standards for the rest of the world. I think when I saw that, and understanding that even though Black and Latino people weren't in the most ideal, and that's a huge understatement, place of political power in the United States,
Mm-hmm.
that if you look through history, they were not the most oppressed people in the world.
Okay.
That other individuals, other societies have felt equal, if not the same, amounts of oppression. And there are people that have had it worse.
Right.
And I know that's true because they no longer exist as a people. Their
Right.
tribe has been completely wiped off the face of the earth. Their language has been lost completely. Their lands have been overtaken and now are inhabited by a different people that are from a completely different demographic. So the fact that we're here and that we continue to flourish and that we have a future in the United States of America and the rest of the world is indicative that, the struggle continues. So I felt like putting as many historical facts and as much of history as I possibly can into the music would be a way to help make people understand just how long this struggle has been going on.
What age, though, were you when you really started to feel, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's got to be almost like a burning, right?
Right,
Like,
late teens, probably early 20s, but it wasn't like my politics came from nowhere. I guess I always kind of understood injustice. I was just on the wrong side of things for a long time when I was a young man. I didn't really care about it as much.
Mhm.
I didn't see how much it affected me personally, or why I should care.
Right.
So that's why I think it makes it easier to relate to a kid who says, "Well, why would I care? What does that affect me? The million people starving in that country. That shit ain't me,
Right.
nigga.
Right.
Fuck that. Let's get this money." That's how people That's how ignorant young people think now. And that's a mentality I can understand because that's a mentality that I used to have, unlike people who get frustrated who are from the activist world and were like, why can't we make you kids care?
Right.
And the real question is, why are you trying to make someone care? You can't make anybody feel this or that. You have to present them with the idea of, whether they choose to accept it or not. They can live their whole life confined to a 30-block radius and never have to deal with
Right,
anything
right.
except that 30-block radius.
Right. And then in addition to that, it's like a lot of us, it's like out of sight, out of mind. It doesn't matter how old we are. Unless
Right.
we see it, unless it's put in front of us, you just don't get it. A lot of people are like that. Do you feel that, I mean, I know politics and religion go hand in hand, and a lot of the wars and stuff are started behind all of that, but what do you feel? Like, there's a lot of spiritual stuff in your music, too. So I guess my question would be, why do you put so much spirituality into your music? Because that's now, even though the two go hand in hand, it
Right.
seems like you're approaching it from different places. That's what the feel that I got.
Well, I don't think that for example, there's a huge argument in this country about theology and whether science is at war with religion or if religion is at war with the constitutionality of America. But I think science and religion both serve mankind in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
They offer explanations that he can't possibly understand, or offer explanations for things that mankind has no way of understanding or giving his own rational
Right.
definition of. So it's a theory. Science is based off of theory too.
Right.
And that theory is proved correct until it's proved wrong. And there have been many theories of science that have been completely wrong, that have led us in directions that are absolutely ridiculous. There are plenty of religious theories that are also insane or outdated.
Right.
I think that, to me, it's not my way of giving homage to religion or taking away from it, but just to show mankind exactly how much of his life is spent on this.
Mm-hmm.
If your religion doesn't make you a better person, if it doesn't improve you as a human being, then it's completely missed its purpose. If it doesn't make you a better person, if you just become more presumptuous, if you become so insecure that you need other people to believe in what you believe in
Right.
for you to even get along with them,
Right.
then what has your religion really done for you? It just
Right.
made you a more closed off, more presumptuous, more judgmental individual. And according to all religions, whether that's Judaism, Christianity, Hinduism, Islam, you're not supposed to be like that. You're supposed to be ennobled by the word of God.
Right.
And that's the part where different religious sects jump in and say, no, you know what? I ennoble people. That religion doesn't. That religion is based on terrorism, or this religion is a white man's religion. And I'm like, you can call Christianity that, but it was started by black people. So, now it's the rock and roll religion. So what do you want from me? And, you call people who believe in something insane.
Right. Right.
But yet we all believe in something that's completely unrealistic. And religion, in that sense, asks you to believe in something that is impossible by any means.
Right.
A man came back to life after dying.
Right.
Oh, a woman didn't have sex and gave birth to son. A man parted the ocean. The Prophet Muhammad ascended into heaven. These things are by all logical standards not believable,
Right.
and yet parts of people's lives that are coexisting with our life in the same time but not the same space and somewhere else in this world are completely unbelievable to you and me.
Right. Right.
We'd be like, you really survive with an entire family off of this? Or you live in a war zone. Every day of your life there's rape and murder and human grave sites all over the place. Like, I can't imagine. That's completely insane and far away from what that seems impossible, like to live and exist like that. But some people's lives are just that preposterous.
What are your spiritual beliefs?
I believe in God. I don't really, delve into discussing my personal religion because I think that, if it's one explanation of it, then people want to know what kind of Christian you are, what kind of Muslim you are, or what kind of Jewish person you are.
Nothing's ever good enough.
It's it's never. Like someone told me one time, they were like, you know what? You should, you're such a champion of Islam and Palestine. And I said, no, I'm really not. It's not about that to me. It's about championing people who have, lived under oppression and are dealing with some horrific circumstances.
Right.
If that was anybody, whether it was, Europeans or Africans or Asians or Jews or Muslims or Christians, if it was anybody, I would be willing to discuss that. But when you have a disproportionate amount of laws being applied to people, disproportionate amount of weapons being used against people and against unarmed civilians,
Mm-hmm.
it really goes to the very point of what we're trying to expose here. And again, even when we discuss religion, people are very, very passionate because they've been indoctrinated with these beliefs since the moment they were born.
Right.
And I think that they should take a moment to sit back and realize, okay, you're such an ardent, hardcore Christian. The only reason you are is because your parents were that. Like,
Right.
if your parents were ardent, hardcore Muslims, unless you had a sudden conversion of faith out of nowhere, that's exactly what you would be right now. 99% of the people who grow up like that end up like that.
Right.
That's what you have been programmed with. You don't choose to call it programming. You call it being saved or having things explained to you. And I think that in some ways, religion and the disciplines that are invoked by them are helpful to some people. They bring them peace of mind, they bring them organization, they bring them morals and values.
Right.
But when it goes beyond that and it starts saying, you can't live your life any way but the way I've decided for you to live your life, then that's when religion takes an awful turn and it starts dictating the courses of other people's lives that you have no right to make a judgment on.
Right.
There's no reason why
Right.
any colonial power should be able to tell anybody else whose God is right and whose God is wrong.
Right.
And there is an amount of racism to be brought into question about that, because not only is it a God that you're asking me to believe in, but this God also conveniently looks just like you.
Right.
You don't want me to worship God.
Right.
You want me to worship you and your image of God. Because really, it's not God that you worship. It's you.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I hear you, though. That's crazy. That's crazy. They, did you see today on the news how the American troops burnt all the Qurans right in front of the Palestinian people? They were trying to dispose of them. I even put on Twitter today, like, today's the day I'm ashamed to be American, because, like, regardless of what your beliefs are, that's just so blatantly disrespectful. And then you wonder why people are getting killed.
Right,
you know?
but I think that that's the whole point. That why are you trying to put a nice face on an occupation? There's no nice way to be an occupier. There's no nice way to rape a woman. There's no nice way to murder somebody. There's no nice way to control somebody else's land and tell them how to live. If anything, this shows exactly what every occupation eventually boils down to. People come in there for some reason, and I remind people, and people say, Technique, you talk about history a lot. All right, because it provides a key to understanding the way the rest of the world is a continuation of what has already happened, the point of origin. The Italians welcomed Napoleon as a liberator when he first came there. But eventually they realized that all the treasure that he was taking was going back to France, that all of the things that they had stolen from other people at a certain point in time were then going to France. Oh, how dare you take the things that we stole from someone else to give to someone else? They're like those 4 horses. They don't belong there. They belong in Constantinople. You people stole them in the 13th century. There's no reason the Venetians should have them at all. So I think, at some point, we ask ourselves, what is the true face of war? What is the true face of occupation? To destroy someone else's culture, to destroy someone else's quote-unquote way of life. And I think, honestly, the people of Afghanistan are coming to realize that this American invasion of their country is not going to be a superficial one. It's going to be something that makes gentrification, look like the difference between some small object being in the room or not. It is going to change the face of their country.
Right.
And they can choose to accept that, or they can choose to rebel. Right. And the majority of them are saying, you know what? Just be who you are, America. Show me your real face. And the real face of America, unfortunately, is, and there are many faces of it, but one of the big faces in it, one of the large percentage of ideas is, you know what? Islam is an inferior religion to Christianity. We're at war with Islam. That's what a lot of small town, suburban American, middle of America, Bible Belt, white Christian people really believe.
Yeah, you're right.
And the sad thing is, we should just get out of the way and let these two people fight one another. But they don't want to fight one another. Because those people that are in the Bible Belt and they talk all this reckless thing, oh, God, and then, so why aren't you the one out there?
Right.
Why are you the one railing, on conservative radio at 8 o'clock in the morning, making somebody else feel horrific, and presenting that face, And the reason that the politicians that you have, especially the Republican ones, are afraid to have that point of view is because they know how the world really works. We're not at war with communism. We're not at war with radical Islam at all. And when I say that, people are automatically like, well, Technique, you're crazy. No, we're not. We're at war with people who say no to us.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.